Gold's perfect storm. Why 2025 is the point of no return. The world is changing faster than anyone can process. But money? Money is collapsing even faster. Right now, behind the headlines, behind the political chaos, behind the smiling economists on TV, a global financial storm is forming. And the one asset standing in the middle of that storm, shining brighter than ever, is gold. You've heard analysts say it before, gold is going up. Gold is a hedge. Gold is insurance. But this time, it's different. This time, the backdrop for gold isn't good. It's the best it's ever been in modern history. I'm Felix, and today, I'm going to show you why the global financial system is quietly dying, and why gold is suddenly the only asset the elite trust. Stay to the end, because the final reason is the one the mainstream media is terrified to talk about. Let's begin. 1. Governments lost control. Gold didn't. For years, governments pretended everything was under control. Inflation is transitory. Interest rates will normalize. Debt will come down. None of that happened. Instead, government debt exploded to levels never seen before. Countries from the US to the UK to Japan are drowning. And here's the truth the public was never supposed to hear. The debt is now mathematically impossible to pay back. Once politicians lose control of debt, they lose control of their currency. And when a currency loses trust, history shows only one thing rises: gold. Every single time. This is why the gold backdrop is better than ever. Not because gold changed, but because governments broke the system holding it down. 2. Central banks are panic buying gold. This is the most important indicator of the entire century. For decades, central banks were sellers of gold. They preferred dollars, bonds, and derivatives. But now, they're buying gold at the fastest pace since 1944, since World War II, since the Bretton Woods system was created. Russia, China, India, Turkey, even countries that never cared about gold before, are stockpiling it like their survival depends on it. Why? Because they know the truth. The US dollar is losing global trust. Geopolitical instability is skyrocketing. The global reserve system is near breaking. Central banks don't buy gold because it's shiny. They buy gold because it's the only asset without counterparty risk. No government can default on gold. No bank can freeze gold. No currency collapse can erase gold. When central banks panic buy, it's because they see something coming, long before the public does. 3. The dollar is quietly dying. This is the part nobody wants to talk about because it terrifies the financial elite. For decades, the dollar ruled everything. Oil, trade, payments, global reserves, all dollar-dominated. But right now, one quiet trend is reshaping the world. Countries are slowly abandoning the dollar. BRICS nations are forming their own systems. Oil contracts are shifting. Sanctions are pushing countries away from Western banks, and China is creating alternative payment networks outside US control. Every move away from the dollar strengthens gold automatically. Because when a global currency weakens, the world turns to the only money that has survived every empire before: gold. The British pound fell, the Roman denarius fell, the French franc fell, the Spanish real fell. Even the US dollar will not be an exception. 4. Inflation is now structural, not temporary. Inflation used to be a short-term problem, but now, it's built into the system. Why? Because governments are addicted to spending, and central banks are trapped between two horrible choices. 1. Raise interest rates and trigger a massive recession, or 2. Lower interest rates and destroy the currency. Either choice pushes investors into gold. This is why we're seeing something unusual. Even when inflation cools for a month or two, gold keeps rising. Because the world understands the truth. Inflation isn't going away. It's permanent. It's structural. And once people lose faith in paper money, they run to real money: gold. 5. Bond markets are cracking. Bonds used to be safe, reliable, predictable. But now, government bond markets around the world look like they're held together with duct tape. Yields are spiking. Countries can't refinance their debt, and pension funds, banks, and insurers who depend on stable bonds are taking massive hits. When the bond market cracks, the entire financial system shakes. And historically, every bond crisis ends the same way, a rush to gold. Because gold doesn't depend on interest rates, gold doesn't default, gold doesn't go bankrupt. In a world where no one trusts government IOUs, gold becomes a lifeline. 6. Geopolitical tension is exploding. Look around the world right now. Wars, conflicts, political instability, cyber attacks, trade wars. We are entering a decade of uncertainty. And there's one simple rule in finance. When the world becomes unpredictable, gold becomes inevitable. Investors don't trust stocks during war. They don't trust real estate during political chaos. They don't trust banks during global tension. But gold? Gold has survived every war, every empire, every crisis for over 5,000 years. This is why gold thrives when the world falls apart. And right now, the world is falling apart faster than ever. 7. Mining supply can't keep up. Now let's talk fundamentals. You can print dollars, you can print euros, you can print yen, but you can't print gold. And here's the shocking reality. Global gold mining supply is flattening. Some experts believe we are reaching peak gold. New gold discoveries are rare. Mining is expensive. Permits take years. Some mines are closing. Meanwhile, demand is exploding. This is a perfect storm. Low supply, rising demand, and collapsing trust in fiat money. There's only one outcome: higher gold prices, much higher. 8. The wealthy are quietly moving into hard assets. Here's something you won't see on TV. The wealthy are silently shifting into hard assets. Not stocks, not bonds, not cash. Hard assets. Gold, silver, farmland, land, commodities. Why? Because they know currencies are being devalued. They know inflation is going to continue. They know governments can freeze bank accounts, seize assets, and print trillions overnight. But they can't print gold. They can't erase gold. They can't seize gold they don't know you have. Smart money is preparing for a world where digital money, capital controls, and financial surveillance become normal. Gold is the escape hatch. 9. The public hasn't woken up yet. This may be the most shocking part. The public still doesn't see it. Most people believe things will go back to normal.
Governments know what they're doing. The crisis will pass. But behind the scenes, the elite are already positioning for a new monetary reset. Gold is rising before the crisis, because those who understand the system know the crisis is already here. When the public finally realizes what's happening, it will be too late. 10. The final reason. A global currency reset is coming. This is the reason nobody wants to talk about. The one that gives gold its most bullish backdrop in history. Every 30 to 50 years, the global monetary system resets. 1944, Bretton Woods. 1971, gold standard ends. 2008, financial system nearly collapses. 2025 plus, the next reset. We are overdue. The math doesn't work anymore. The debt is too big. Currencies are too weak. Trust is collapsing. When the reset comes, whether it's digital currencies, new reserve systems, or a multipolar monetary world, gold will be at the center. Because no reset works without real money.
That's why the backdrop for gold is the strongest in modern history. This isn't a prediction. It's the direction the world is already moving. Conclusion. Gold isn't rising because it's shiny. Gold is rising because the world is falling apart. Government debt is exploding. Central banks are panic buying. The dollar is weakening. Inflation is structural. Bond markets are cracking. Geopolitical tensions are skyrocketing. Supply is shrinking. The wealthy are preparing. The public is asleep. And a global monetary reset is coming. The backdrop for gold has never been better. Not in 20 years. Not in 50 years. Not since the end of Bretton Woods. You are witnessing a once-in-a-lifetime shift, a realignment of power, money, and trust. And when that shift is complete, The people who prepared will not just survive, they will thrive. Stay awake, stay aware. I'm Felix. See you next time.